supposed to respond. We're expected to respond, even if it's not the right thing to do. Most people are taught that they're supposed to respond viciously and maliciously and hatefully, and that simply is not the case. Just because somebody is paranoid does not mean that you are guilty. If somebody is creeped out by you because of the way you look, and you can see through this evidence, yeah, the way I look was the primary fucking instigator right there. Oh, well, and with Natalie, it was, oh, she's so pretty, she's so beautiful. It was about looks. Now, despite the fact that I'm the one who was victimized for over a year before Natalie was killed, and that I had begged for someone to fucking help me or shoot me, I finally gave up on getting help and just straight up started begging people to shoot me. That didn't work either. That's when people were like, oh, well, maybe I should pay some fucking attention. Maybe try to help someone. Maybe actually listen to him. Why is it that he's acting crazy for a whole year? Well, because I was going through some serious shit and I needed people to listen, and obviously it didn't work. Now, I use the example often with black folks. If you're afraid of a black person and there's one standing next to you and you're creeped out because you're creeped out by black people, sure, you're not going to admit that you're just being a fucking racist asshole. You're not going to admit that you're afraid of black people. You're just creeped out by him. No, you're fucking scared of black people. You're taught to be afraid of black people. Just like you're taught to be afraid of homeless people. Just like you're taught to be afraid of people with beards. People who look like they might be bikers. Ooh. Huge bikers, lots of semen. Every parent should be afraid. Meanwhile, who are some of the biggest fucking sweethearts I've ever met? Bikers. Most of the bikers I know aren't the doctors and lawyer types. They're the, I just got out of the army. I'm going to buy me a bike. I just got out of the Air Force. I'm going to buy me a bike. Or I work fucking construction. I deserve the right to ride. The problem is that every woman in America knows that she can do this. Every woman. They're taught that that's the way they have to do it. And that doesn't mean all of them. Not all of them are taught that's the way they have to do it. Some of them are taught other ways to do it. But they still are aware. Like, of course, the cleavage with the parking ticket. Or I'm having women issues and I need to go to the hospital. When you get to the hospital, they've given you an escort. They don't want to go in and mess with your feminine issues, so they're going to leave immediately. They're not going to, no ticket, no nothing. And of course, you just walk into the emergency room and then hang out for about 10 minutes, go to the bathroom, and then you leave. Get back in your vehicle. And I know a few women who have done that. Quite a few women who have done that. Or, of course, flirting with the officer. Now, when you are abused by pretty people like Natalie Bollinger and Alicia Bollinger and their friends who are druggies, and they want to pretend like you're the druggie, they want to push you to the point that you want your life to end, and you don't have any help because you're not pretty. You must be in the wrong. You must be the bad guy. You're the one who's homeless. It's not a rocket science. And you got to see how the officers here in Hood River took advantage of Dean. Does Dean really seem like a feller who is capable of doing those things for himself? No, he is not. No, he is not. What they did to him, they knew that they were taking advantage of a disabled person. Anyway, the reason that I ask, if a woman is afraid, does that make it okay to harm people? If a woman is paranoid, does that make it okay to harm people? If somebody has Tourette syndrome and they're being abused because people want to pretend that means they're on drugs, wouldn't you think that the family that knows you got Tourette syndrome would maybe at least come forward and admit that instead of making you beg for years? See, that's one of the things about either needing a safe place to do all this and help in person doing it, or needing my family to come forward. You know, if my mother had come forward and said, yeah, Sean has Tourette syndrome, and yes, he is autistic. If my dad had said, yes, Sean is fucking autistic. Yes, he's got Tourette syndrome. But they didn't. What is it you're creeped out by? You're not creeped out by the things that I had to do to defend myself. See, that's the thing. You want to pretend things I had to do to defend myself, to try to get heard, to try to stop this. You guys want to pretend like that makes me some sort of a terrible monster who is stalking some little fucking 12-year-old. No. Until Natalie Bollinger was 18, I didn't want nothing to do with her. And when she was 18, she had a few more ideas of what she wanted to do with me than I was okay with. I wasn't interested in that kind of relationship. I'm getting people to look at the evidence, you know, and people say they'll look at it and they'll share it, and I share it with them, and nothing. They say, oh, what can I do to help? Well, you can look at the evidence and you can share it and you can speak up. Oh, well, I don't know how to do that. Do you not know how to share? There's a little share button on the bottom. If I tag you in evidence, you can, of course, click that little share button on Facebook and you can fucking share the post. I make it public. It can be shared. You can show others. But did you? Do you? Are you? Will you? Well, I'm being harmed over the paranoid delusions of druggies. Well, I'm actually being harmed over the paranoid delusions of people who are on drugs. My predators, who are on drugs, most of them, want to pretend like I am paranoid because I'm delusional and on drugs. No. I'm paranoid because a man can literally be murdered over a woman spreading rumors. Natalie Bollinger and Alicia Bollinger never once, even to this day, have not once ever said that I ever touched them inappropriately. Not even once. But that's what people wanted to assault me over. When people were actually assaulting me, it wasn't I heard that you were stalking some girl in Virginia. No, that just resulted in threats. The parts where people were actually assaulting me and threatening to kill my friends and family, that part's screwed up. But there is nothing at all that I have seen to even suggest from either her or Alicia that I touched them in any such a way. You'd think that would be something they would have come forward with immediately if I had. But you just don't get it, do you? I get that Natalie was embarrassed. People tell me I need to understand this is how you treat men. Men need to understand, If a man is disabled and can't defend himself, he needs to understand. No, he doesn't. He doesn't need to understand why you're abusing him to know that that abuse is wrong. Knowing why you're abusing him, however, gives him a route to try to get the hell out. Why are people abusing me? Well, go to the fucking source of the problem. If that doesn't work, go to your friends. If that doesn't work, go to an adult. As an adult, you got to go to your friends, or you got to go to the police, or you got to go to your family and you got to go to the police. In either event, you cannot go to the police alone. All a woman's got to do is pretend like you might, maybe, possibly. Nobody cares if it's true or not. Nobody gives two shits if it's true or not. They will fucking hurt you. They will fucking kill you. They will threaten to kill your friends and family, and in some cases, they will. They will absolutely kill your friends and family. You guys want to not pay attention to the fact that these threats against my friends and family do actually exist. They have been posted on Facebook and YouTube. They do exist. They have been happening. Now, if these people were telling the truth about these situations, they need to come forward with it. If they were lying about these situations, they need to be arrested. I'm for equal rights. That means the male victims get hurt too. It means the disabled victims get hurt too. It means the white victims get hurt too.